there's a difference between our spirit's compatibility and our flesh's compatibility. A lot of people think like, well, we're in this relationship, I'm very compatible. But it's like, yeah, but the question is, are you compatible in feeding each other's insecurities? Or are you compatible in actually your soul?
How do women measure when they have a fear of building up their men's ego and are worried that they may build them up to a point of leaving? In the sense of, this is one of the deeper questions I want to ask you guys, as far as being transparent. We're not unaware of the divorce rate. Of the people that stay together who aren't divorced, how many of them are actually happy? It's like comes down to literally like 2 to 5% of marriages are actually thriving, happy.
I will say 1.
So the question is, from a lot of times, even people in your position, I mean, the guy lost over 100 pounds in 18 months.
2 years, 2-3 years.
Killing it health-wise, financially, great marriage, traveling, business, social media. But unfortunately, just an honest topic, a lot of times when men have that transformation, they start seeing money, it can go to their head, and then they can have an affair, leave, substitute for a trophy wife, all that kind of stuff. Fortunately, you already have that. So I think that's part of the answer that I would expect, that I would say is like, I could go in on that. I'll go in on it for a second. But like, I had to do very intentional work with evaluating who she was and not just falling in love with who she was, but who she will be in 10 years. Who she will be in 20 years. And will the future versions of ourselves be compatible? Or are just our current versions compatible? We had to talk about that, of what does that look like? But we knew we had those hard conversations that were compatible for each other, but our future versions are compatible too. And I know you guys, when you guys didn't have success, and you guys were very passionate about each other then. And I'm not worried about you guys, but I want to hear from y'all's perspective. You guys are still very passionate. And like they say, money doesn't change us, it amplifies us. So if anything, it's almost amplified y'all's love together. But speak into that on both sides of like, that's obviously a temptation that can come up and a challenge.
So here's what we're going to understand. Women will prove their loyalty during the process. And men will prove their loyalty during the wealth.
During the outcome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So how can I let down the woman that believed in me for over 10 years?
Come on.
You know, she's my queen. She's the most important thing of my life. But remember, I'm not part of the masses. You know, I'm not part of the masses. How can I let down the only person that believed in me when nobody else believed in me? Oh, she proved me she was the right one during 10 years? Watch me prove her I'm the right one for the next 100 years in wealth and richness.
You gotta get crying. I felt that in my heart.
Does that make sense?
So it's real.
So that question, I will answer it. If you that are listening to us, if you're part of the masses, if you don't have the right mentality, then maybe I need to answer this question. If you develop the mentality and the mindset that Gabriel and I had, and we are developing, you don't need to know this because divorce is not part of our vocabulary. You know, we have a lifetime and eternity commitment because we found the person that we're going to build everything with.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah, but remember, 99% of the people, they don't have the values we have. They don't have the mentality we have.
Unfortunately.
You know what I'm saying? That's why we're creating this content.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can think the way we think. So you can see life the way we see life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for us, this is what I live for, to give her everything. Do you know what I'm saying? Like now my whole thing is to how can I make her happy? How can I make her the most happy woman in the world?